Hi friends, it's Joby here for games.on.net, and today we're going to talk about Splash Damage's new game, Dirty Bomb.
First, defend the extractor fan controls. Then stop them fighting their way down the escalators. Finally, don't let them destroy the pump controls.
Dirty Bomb, apart from being the sort of game you can't talk about in airports, is the spiritual successor to Wolfenstein: Enemy Territory, the team-based shooter which is now, depressingly, more than a decade old. The influences are apparent immediately as the game drops asymmetrical teams of 5, one attacking, one defending, into sprawling maps with multiple objectives. As an attacker, you work to complete your objectives, racing against the clock to finish as fast as possible. This is because when you become a defender, the times you set as an attacker will dictate whether you win or lose. Each objective can be worked on by both teams. If you look here, you'll see as a defender I'm able to uncap the zone as much as the attackers can work to cap it. In Dirty Bomb, the best defense is a good offense. Each objective has alternative objectives as well, which allow teams to modify how they approach their mission. As we approach the final objective as attackers on Underground, we're able to open alt routes to the bomb site and close down routes for the defenders. Of course, it's not just a copy of Wolf ET. The Axis and allies no longer wage war across North Africa and Europe. In Dirty Bomb, mercenaries battle through the empty streets of London in search of treasures. Dirty Bomb avoids the class system most team-based shooters stick to, instead using those roles as archetypes for characters. In the pre-game lobby, you'll select 3 characters from all those available to you, and during the game you're able to switch to any of these 3 characters for your next life. Those you take into the game might be snipers, healers, support classes with ammo packs or turrets, fleet-footed engineer-type characters who trigger objectives quickly, or even damage-soaking tank-like characters. It's important to balance your character selections, not just for yourself but for your team. Your team will wind up having issues if it turns out nobody brought a healer to the game. Each character in the archetype fulfills their role differently. Take the idea of a medic, for example. When you die, you're initially sent to a downed state, still available for revival, and any character can revive a downed teammate. If you take any extra damage, you'll die for reals, and that's where the medic archetype comes in. Amongst those filling the medic role, there might be one who can revive dead teammates, but can't heal normally. A character who can heal the whole team rapidly, but revives down players at the same rate as any other character. A medic who can self-revive themselves, and one who does the stock standard heals and revives thing. As you become more familiar with the characters and how their specific roles can benefit your team, the idea is that you'll eventually find a group of 3 that you excel with and that your team can build around. More than a decade's worth of learning from Splash Damage has helped in other areas too. Brink's traversal system isn't entirely present here, but the ability to wall jump absolutely adds an element of skill-based movement to the game. By pressing jump when you hit a wall, you can spring off it, and if you're close to another wall, you can do it again. Skilled players will be able to use this to get to locations others consider impassable, much like the rocket jump in Quake 3. For those who missed the Wolf ET craze, the easiest analog is that of Team Fortress. Dirty Bomb is all about the team-based victory, and individual hero moments like those you see in the Call of Duty series are nowhere near as common here. A bad player on one team can be an active detriment to the entire squad, because players need to fulfill their roles to the best of their character's abilities. We had one such player on our team who was exactly this sort of burden. I've played console shooters with him before and he's competent, but his mouse and keyboard skills were lacking. Playing on his team was almost like being down a player, because he couldn't be counted on for kills at all. Thanks to a bevy of indirect fire abilities and support roles, he eventually found a way to make an impact for our team, keeping the damage dealers healed or full of ammo. If this all sounds familiar to MOBA players, that's not a coincidence. It's difficult to work out what came first, the free-to-play business model or the individual characterization, but both combined to give the game a slight MOBA feel. There are no creeps, no shops, and no mid-game leveling up, but Neil Alfonso, lead designer on the game, explained how MOBAs have had such an impact on all games these days.
I suppose like that's the other genre of game that's really popular among the dev team. Our lead programmer has played scary amounts of League of Legends. I don't know how he manages with 2 kids, but I'm sure they have an answer to that. Yeah, and that's something that has been a real eye-opener for us, and that's, I think, an eye-opener for the industry as a whole, right? A lot of what you see is a sort of dumbing down of things, a simplification, and sometimes it can be called like a race to the bottom, right? People don't want to take risks. People just want to put sort of like all their eggs in one basket and make it really, really polished. And then League of Legends came along, and Dota before it, and Dota 2 now, and they sort of showed that people can handle something that's really complex. There's a huge market for it, and and I suppose one of the other things is the community that grows around outside it. These things, when they came out, they didn't do a great job of teaching people how to play. People just sort of got together and traded strategies because they liked the game. Well, the best example of that is, I always say, is we talked about earlier, is Minecraft, which started that way as well. And I think developers as a whole are realizing that sort of community effect is huge. It can be so much more. Like, we've tried very much to direct the experience, but the players can own it more now with the internet and with social media, with everything. Posting videos on YouTube, it's changed things a lot, and I think it allows people to learn much more quickly.
Dirty Bomb's exact free-to-play model isn't set in place yet. In fact, a lot of the game is still in progress as the team tries to balance and rebalance the game. At the moment, what they have in place is similar to Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Go, a crates and keys system that randomly assigns crates to players at the end of the round and then asks them to pay to open the crate. It's not about creating extrinsic motivations by offering players better loot or better gear. Playing the game is intrinsically motivating, it's worth it for the enjoyment itself, and the team is almost militant in their attitude against the idea of pay to win. Crates won't give you any distinct advantage over other players, they're instead about rewarding players for supporting the game in a mildly thematic manner. As I mentioned, the game is still a work in progress. It's at a point now where Splash Damage haven't even finalized the game modes that will be on offer. The build we played featured the classic Wolf ET style attack and defend gameplay, but others are coming, including a possible search and destroy style 1 life per round mode. One thing you'll never see is Team Deathmatch, which is a refreshing change of pace from contemporary multiplayer shooters. We asked Neil why the Team Deathmatch gameplay was so prevalent today, and he explained his thoughts.
My answer would be accessibility. It's an issue that comes up again and again for us because team play is more hardcore than solo play. People naturally can be lone wolves. It takes a bit more of a leap to be a real team player. We believe that's more fun, and that's one of the reasons why we've always done it. But we also know that that's a bit harder to pick up, and we're limiting our audience a bit that way. But we think gaming's big enough that that's still valid. We can go that path, and objectives are the same way. It is a very specific thing. But, we've tailored the game for the hardcore. We tailored the game for the fans of the sort of game that we make. While at the same time, we're trying to do what we can to make it accessible for those new players, people who want to come in and do more than just deathmatch. It's not for everybody. We're never going to admit that's not the case. Some people just want to go online and kill everything they see, and that's fair enough. There are plenty of games for them, though. We don't necessarily have to compete on that same field. We're hoping we can do what we do really well, and some people will love it.
We got enthusiastic confirmation from Rich Jolly, co-founder of Splash Damage, that Dirty Bomb would have Australian dedicated servers when the open beta launched sometime next year. And yes, a server browser is an essential part of the experience, allowing players to join a server as a clan for scrims or wars. On the other hand, complex and complete matchmaking will be essential to Dirty Bomb as a public server random teammate experience. And work on that concept is still ongoing. It's already obvious that the team tracks a lot of stats from your playtime, so hopefully they'll be able to use those stats to create teams of randoms with similar skill sets. Otherwise, the community could very well turn toxic, as it has in the MOBA genre. I had a lot of fun with Dirty Bomb, and it felt like an old school experience done right. Splash Damage hasn't forgotten their roots, but they're not stuck in them either. While it's mildly depressing to think that Wolf ET's gameplay style is now considered old school, it's refreshing to get the chance to experience a fresh take on it. The game won't enter open beta until sometime next year, which makes the wait almost agonizing, but you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for opportunities to enter the closed beta. I know I will be. Let's finish this preview with a single life from the Underground map, where I cap some side objectives, revive an important teammate, and do my best to defend the cap area.
Stop them. They're capturing the objective. Stop them. They're capturing the objective. Stop them. The objective. Stop them.